This is Sean Payton, head coach of the New Orleans Saints. What's with this Saints Happy Cast? This has to be the worst Saints podcast in the world. Ralph can't say anyone's name right. Andrew doesn't know football. Everyone has a hard time listening to Dave. And is Kevin even there tonight? The audio with this podcast, my God, the audio.
Video.
It's painful.
All right, everybody, welcome to another fabulous, technically proficient, awesome episode of the Saints Happy Hour podcast. The live stream is DOA tonight. I do not know what has happened. We apologize to all the people on YouTube. I don't think you're seeing us. So, guys, what a great way.
Aren't we doing them a favor?
We are. We probably are. We probably are doing it a favor. Just as we get the YouTube channel growing, subscribers, people excited about it, we got the video rolling, and it's all dead. It's burning pile of trash.
I put on pants for this.
I did not.
So, you know, and it's disappointing because we got the Mora bracket, we got Drew Brees apology, we got should you wear a Drew Brees jersey, we got topics how to survive the summer without sports. Like, we have some fun, interesting stuff in the chat room, and they'll get none of it. But you should support the podcast anyway, because we are going to give you a box, a booze bundle that Dave has created for us that is freaking amazing. Cruditatum Cup, Forever Drew Cup, a custom shot glass that Dave has designed for us that is amazing, and a koozie. What more could you want? Become a $10 patron. You get that box shipped to you in August. It's amazing. You should do it. So I'm not gonna lie, the catastrophe that is the live stream has me off kilter, Andrew. But
They can still hear us, man. It's all good. They don't need to see your ugly mug,
It's
Ralph.
just a normal podcast, Ralph. Just
Yeah.
like we've been doing for 11 years.
Really, it's gonna be okay. Deep breath.
deep breath. So you posted something on our Facebook page where everybody should go and join our new Saints Happy Hour Facebook group. You posted it, and I thought it was a great topic, and it is, are we ready to forgive Drew Brees, and how are you going to feel about wearing your Drew Brees jersey come the fall?
Yeah, we did a poll on that on Twitter, and I think 70% of Saints I think we had about 350 people that voted on this. 70% were like, yep, Drew did nothing wrong, or I'm good with wearing the jersey now. 20% were like, which is probably where I fall, to be honest. 20% were like, I will definitely wear the jersey at some point, but I feel a little weird just wearing it now. And 10%,
Really? That's how you feel?
well, I mean, I just feel like if I wore it now, it's not that I haven't forgiven him. I have, and I'm cool. Like, I believe that he made a mistake, and I know a lot of Saints fans don't feel that way, and I respect that. But I think he made a mistake. He's apologized for it, so like, I'm good with Drew. I think out of respect for what's going on, I wouldn't want to be ornery and wear the jersey and just feel like I'm starting shit. So
That's the thing. Like it's sort of.
Anyway, 10% said never again. I will never forgive Drew Brees. I will never wear his jersey.
Actually that to me was a little bit low, and I'll get to that in a second. But go ahead, Dave.
I don't. Here's what I don't understand. I mean, we can absolutely blame Drew for being tone deaf.
Yes.
In the heat of the moment.
Yes.
Maybe being a little old school, old fashioned, stuck in his ways, maybe a little too patriotic, if that's possible. You could even blame him for being selfish and only thinking of his own family, his only grandmothers, his grandparents, grandfathers.
His own white privilege.
But see you saying that right there, like I don't know. I think I don't think that he's like a racist, though. I don't.
No.
So I mean, he's a person. Yes, he made a mistake. I mean, I'm not trying to defend him. Yes, he's said a dumb thing at the wrong time, but uh, I don't think that the things that you could blame him for are necessarily so egregious that you can't wear the man's jersey anymore. That's what I feel.
No, I'm with you. My thing is, if you want social change, like the word change, I mean, it implies that you need people to change. So if you want things to improve, you need people to change their minds, and you need to bank on the fact that if they get the right information, that they will change. And so
Right.
if you're saying that Drew Brees, I will never wear his jersey again, I can't forgive him, he can't change, then what's the point of all this? Because we're never going to be able to convince people to do the right thing.
In addition to the fact that I think he's being blamed, or I think he's being blamed for something maybe more than what it really is. But in addition to that, he did handle it, I think, as best he could in the
Yeah.
aftermath. He said all the right things.
I mean,
And
he's trying. He's trying.
if we can only take him for his word and at face value. And so if we are to believe all the things that he said, then he's turned a corner and heading in the right direction, which only more so should make it okay for you to be able to wear his jersey.
We all make mistakes. You know, you're convincing
Yeah.
me, Dave. Give me another like 48 hours, and I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to wear the jersey.
I think I just
And
need
this is a separate point, but like a grown man wearing a football player's jersey, like I question that anyway.
Yes. Oh,
I believe
so glad you brought that up. Because I was
wearing a
having
jersey
conversation
to a
with my friend earlier.
non-football game is weird. That's my opinion. Wearing any sports jersey to a non-sporting event is weird. Like if you wear an NBA jersey to a non-NBA game, it's weird. If you wear a football jersey to a non-football event like a barbecue, it's weird. And
At what
believe
point
that.
does it become weird? Like, because for kids, obviously.
kids,
fine,
it's okay.
right?
But for like a grown adult to be like meeting you out at a bar and like wearing a Breeze jersey, it's just I'm like.
What if it's like a Saints watch party? What if it's like a draft party? You wear a jersey to that?
That's okay. Like if it's
That's
if it's a football related event, if it's a non-football related event, it's weird. You know,
Funeral?
like the dude wearing the Tracy McGrady's
No.
Rockets jersey at the pool
Funeral's
today
not
was weird. I'm sorry, it just is.
When the Saints played the Vikings, I went to church that day in 2009 in the NFC Championship game. I went to church that day before the game, and the priest was wearing a Drew Brees jersey. True story.
I
Well,
believe it.
yeah. So
Right across the street from you, Dave, St. Francis of Assisi, I think.
I mean,
No, St. Francis Xavier.
Xavier, sorry.
I
That's my
wonder.
church. I went there today.
I wonder if his
Really?
jersey sales will take a hit. Like Drew Brees jersey sales.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I think all jerseys are probably taking a hit this year.
Nah, but it'll take a hit because there's that small percentage like you saw on Facebook or whatever, that 10-15% or whatever that really takes it seriously, and so yeah, I could see it taking a hit. Not a huge hit, but yeah, a hit nonetheless.
Yeah.
There's one patron in the chat that says that soccer jerseys are acceptable everywhere. Are we in agreement with that? It's kind of got more of a T-shirt feel to it.
I was about to
does.
say yes because they're really just glorified T-shirts with some stripes and a crest on it.
That's true. Yeah. Soccer jerseys can start. Baseball jersey, maybe, but like basketball and football, 100%. You know, like if it's weird, the dude in the Tracy McGrady jersey at the pool today was weird, and not just because he weighed 85 pounds and it looked like the jersey was gonna fall off of him. It would have been weird if he'd have been normal height and weight.
Tracy McGrady, huh?
Rockets, Rockets, right? It's Houston, so it makes sense. So here's another thing that I wanted to talk about that's a little bit off topic from the Saints. We're gonna get to Well, before we get to that, let's talk about Alvin Kamara's contract. I saw a lot of Saints Twitter talking about that this week, and I wanted to touch on it because it's a real topic. And the reason why I think it's interesting, Andrew, is Dalvin Cook for the Vikings, who is same draft class as Alvin Kamara, 1 year left on his deal. He said, I'm not doing a damn thing. I'm not doing Zoom meetings. I'm not doing online. I'm not doing nothing until I get a new contract. And in my opinion, Alvin Kamara is magnitudes better than him. So I know it's each player's situation is different, but does that give you pause and think maybe just because Alvin Kamara is not being vocal about it, that he's going to be a guy, he's going to be holding out, he's going to be making noise, he's going to want his money come July?
Dave, did you notice that Ralph at separate times in that question called him Kamara and Kamara? Did you notice that?
He's just covering it. He's covering his ass. He knows at some point one of them's got to be right.
He says if he says it differently enough times, eventually
That's right.
one of them's got to be correct.
Right.
Yeah.
That way he can say, "Oh yeah, that time I said it wrong. That was just an accident."
Yeah. Just throw a bunch of shit at the wall and just see what sticks. So yeah, I wonder if Dalvin Cook was a second round pick. So I wonder if the fact that it's not a lot more money, but he has a little bit more money in the bank than Kamara, and I wonder if that makes him just a little bit more willing to risk the finances. But I would have thought with the fines there was no way that Kamara would hold out. So I would have, before the news about Cook, I would have said no way. I'm very surprised that Cook is refusing to play. That is very surprising to me, given the fines and given the fact that even as a second round pick, he really has not made bank,
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I tend to think Kamara's going to show up, but I don't know.
Dave?
I think I'm trying to look at his numbers here. So he's up for contract after this season.
Yeah. Same as Cook and Kamara / Kamara / Kimono.
Alvin Kimono.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I guess I somewhat agree. I guess I agree with Andrew. And maybe that's just wishful thinking that he's not going to make a big stink about it, and that he's just going to trust the process. But who the hell knows? Everybody holds out now. It's common practice. Contracts mean nothing anymore on both sides.
But it's more punitive if you hold out, supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know. I guess part of me wonders like what as far as this whole coronavirus thing going on and what the season's going to look like. Is that going to help you or hurt you if you're Kamara, as far as negotiating is concerned or whatever? I don't know.
Well, that's a good question. Andrew, if you're Alvin Kamara, are you like, I have got to get my money now because the cap may go down, the cap might go down, and teams don't value running backs highly anyway. So if the Saints are offering me 4 years, $44 million, maybe I should take it because I don't know what my market's going to be post-coronavirus world.
I don't know, man. I don't want to pay Kamara. I know, I love the dude. I wish he would stay with the Saints for a really long time, but I know what it's going to cost to keep him. And you just said it, 4 years, $45 million. It's going to be north of $10 million a year.
Shut up, you big bald fuck.
Don't pay Kamara. Shut up with that.
I don't want to pay a running back $10 million a year. I just don't. Like, it's too easy. If the Saints had not had Pierre Thomas and Mark Ingram and Darren Sproles and Reggie Bush and Kamara and Latavius Murray, and Kyrie Robinson and Chris Ivory, it's just been too easy for Sean Payton to find a back that can produce in this offense without paying them. They've never had to pay a back. Why start now?
I'm just gonna say amen to that as far as Andrew is concerned. I echo that 100%.
I love Kamara.
Yeah. No, I'm on board with that. But
When
I'm
you
all
say
about
don't-
everything Andrew said is 100% accurate. But I mean, here's the thing. I don't even know if that's specific to the Saints. I think that's a trend across the league. I think a lot of teams are now spending much less on running backs because they're turning out to be a dime a dozen. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the way the game has evolved, whatever. But it's not a you know, 5 yards in a cloud of dust or whatever the fucking term is. I mean, that's just not that kind of league anymore.
And look, if they had Le'Veon Bell or Christian McCaffrey or
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson in his prime, where we're talking about 375 touches in a season, I'd feel differently. But the Saints have always kind of been 2 or 3 backs backed by committee.
Do you when you say don't pay Kamara, do you mean under no circumstances do not pay him north of like $9 million? Or are you like, hey, if they got him for 4 years, $40 million, and it was a really good deal, that's okay? Or are you just, no, we're not, you don't pay a running back, don't pay him $7 million, don't pay him $8 million, no. Don't pay him, period, get another one.
They were ready to pay Ingram, 3 years, $15 million? So they were going to pay Ingram $5 million a year, and then he ended up walking because he wanted more. So I would say that Kamara is worth more to the team than Ingram was. So yeah, I would say that $7 million a year. I'm doing that. Maybe $8 million. But no, 9, 10, 11. I'm done. I'm not doing it. And I know Kamara's going to want that. I know his agent's going to sit. And the thing is, if he's on the open market, he's going to get it. Someone will pay him $12 million a year. I'm convinced.
He's got for him to get $12 million a year, Andrew. He's got to go 2,000 total yards in 2020 because he was injured last year. He went 12 weeks without scoring a touchdown. I think his market, like any running back market, is going to be soft. If Le'Veon Bell couldn't get the money he wanted, I don't think Kamara will.
Dude, Christian McCaffrey what did he get? $14 million a year?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that production-wise, he's leaps and bounds ahead of Kamara, but someone will look at Kamara and they will say, if we give him the ball in every damn play, he's going to come awful close to what McCaffrey does for the Panthers.
Maybe.
Someone will have that vision, and I'm not saying they'll pay him $14 million a year, but they're not going to blink at $11 million a year. And I think he'll get that. It only takes one team, and there's a lot of stupid GMs out there.
Ryan Pace just entered the chat.
Yeah.
He would be all over that.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
No, you are correct. So it'll be because here's the thing, right? And this is a point I was actually me and Andrew have been trying to tweet from the Saints Happy Hour account and be more conversational and that sort of thing. And yet we've been more conversational and got more people talking to us and got more likes and got more retweets. Yet people are fleeing the Saints Happy Hour Twitter account like it's the Titanic and it's sinking. Please don't do that. Follow us on Saints Twitter. Follow us at Saints Happy Hour. But I was listening to Mina Kine's podcast, and she called the Saints salary cap a Ponzi scheme. And I made a joke about that, and she said, I said it in the most loving way possible. And it is, and I want Dave, if you could make a t-shirt, the Saints are a Ponzi scheme, I think you could make serious money on that. But here's my question. Loomis math, Andrew, the foundational principle of Loomis math, one of the foundational principles at least, is the salary cap goes up every single year, and because of that, I will always have wiggle room to do what I want to do. With the pandemic and the salary cap possibly staying flat or gasp going down, how much are you worried about the Saints cap situation when Lattimore, Ramchap, Marcus Williams, Demario Davis, and Camara all are wanting to get paid? How worried about the Saints cap are you?
Well, first of all, Ralph, I can't believe you're going down this path again. I mean, how many times does Mickey Loomis have to make you look like a complete idiot until you get it that it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic, it doesn't matter if an asteroid collides with the planet Earth. It doesn't matter if a black hole sucks in the universe and the entire league is defunct. Mickey Loomis will still find a way to get the Saints to purchase players. So, so am I worried that Mickey Loomis will be able to pull it off and do what he needs to do? Absolutely not. Loomis math knows no limitations. Now that being said, I don't know that worried is the word, but I am resigned to the fact that the Saints killed it in those 2 years of drafting, and they've got a lot of. It's time to pay the piper on a lot of guys at the same time, and they're not going to be able to keep all of them. They're just not. And so they're going to have to pick and choose which ones are most important. And I think Ramczyk tops the list for me. And, Lattimore's a tough decision. Marcus Williams is a tough decision. I don't think Kamara is that tough of a decision. We just talked about that. And I hate to say that because, again, I love the guy. I hope he stays a Saint for his whole career. But I don't pay him what I think he wants and what I think he'll get. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. Look, the Saints don't have a great cap situation next year to begin with. If the cap goes down because of the pandemic and they have even less space, it's problematic. I still think Loomis will find a way to make it work and keep the guys that he can, but we should be prepared to see at least a couple of those names you rattled off walk out.
Do you think Kamara, if I would agree Kamara, Dave, is the most likely not to be re-signed, who do you think is the second most likely of the guys that I named to not be re-signed?
Kamara, Ramczyk, Williams,
Lattimore.
Who else? Who's the fifth one?
Demario Davis.
Oh, Marcus Williams.
Yeah. Ooh.
Honestly,
Marcus Williams is Marcus Williams. Saints fans hate him because of 2017, but analytics nerds love him and view him as an elite safety in the NFL.
I feel the same way about safety that I do about running back. Why would you pay a safety?
Yeah, you're not going to pay. You're not going to pay him something ridiculous. Them paying Jarvis Bird years ago, that was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. When you've got a star tackle like Ramczyk and you've got a star cover corner like Lattimore, those are pillars of your team. Those positions are irreplaceable. Free safety, running back,
and linebacker and Demario Davis and
totally
leader of your defense, leader of your locker room.
Yeah.
All three of those guys are definitely on another level above Marcus Williams.
Well, the thing about Marcus Williams is, to me, I sort of agree with Andrew. My only caveat for safety is it's the only way I'm paying a safety ridiculous money is if they're a turnover machine. Like if you're a 5 pick a year guy and you're causing 3 fumbles and you're creating 7 to 10 turnovers a year, then I'll pay you. If not, I'm not going to pay you. And so I would agree with that. The thing is, though, I just wonder how the Saints view these guys. And the thing that's tricky with Demario Davis, and look, we all love him. He's amazing. To me, he's the best cover linebacker in the NFL, and I think you can make a case he's the best all-around linebacker in the NFL. My only caveat to the Saints re-signing him is if they don't pay him in the summer, Andrew, he's post 30, and if he starts to decline or gets injured, I think it wouldn't be a lock that they would keep him. So that's why I would move him slightly ahead of Marcus Williams as the second most likely guy not to be re-signed. Just because linebacker's such a violent...
He's older.
Yeah, he's post 30, and linebacker's such a violent position, you know?
Well, as we saw with Vilma, when the wheels come off, sometimes they come off pretty quick.
Well, the one thing I will say about Vilma is the Jets traded him to the Saints because they didn't want to pay him because they felt his knee was about to explode. And the Saints traded for him and really got 2008, 2009, and a little bit of 2010, and then the wheels completely came off. So that's a little bit different than Demario Davis, but very similar when you factor in the age. It's interesting times. Do you think? Let me ask you this, and I want you both to answer, and I'll start with you, Dave. If one of them is gonna get a contract in the summer, who is it gonna be?
Ramchek.
Ooh,
That's my answer too.
Yeah, I mean he's that's having a solid tackle is worth his weight in gold, and that's the kind of guy you want to build your offensive line around. Ramchek.
Does the
You're-
Texans' stupidity complicate it though, Andrew? Because they gave Laramie Tunsil 3 years, $66 million.
I feel like the Saints do a good job of talking to their top guys and making them understand that, like, hey, that contract's crazy.
Bill O'Brien.
We want to keep.
Bill O'Brien.
We want to
is
keep you.
stupid.
We want to make you really rich. And I don't think Ramchek is going to be one of those guys. It's like, I need to be the highest paid ever, or
Yeah.
I'm leaving. I think Ramchek would want to stay. So I think they'll pay him very handsomely, and that deal will get done. The thing is, so you got to look at it this way. Brees is 41, and you've got to protect him at all costs. So, and he may only be here for one more year, but Ramchek is critical to Brees. But it's also like, if you're Sean Payton, you're an offensive coach, and like the future is either going to be Taysom, or it's going to be Jameis Winston, or it's going to be someone else. You got to protect that guy too. You don't want him to start. You want to give him Michael Thomas. You want to give him Ramchek because you want to set him up for success. And if Ramchek is gone, all of a sudden your offensive line has a massive hole, and a new quarterback taking over is that's a situation you want to avoid at all costs. So to me, Ramchek is priority number one for this team.
Well, because the thing is, of all the guys I just mentioned, I am 100% convinced, Dave, that a team would not blink in giving Ramchek $25 million a year for 4 years. Like, if Tunsil got 22, a team that's desperate at tackle and awful and has a shit ton of cap space will gladly give Ramchek 3 years, $75 million guaranteed or whatever. Lattimore probably 2. I think a team wouldn't
I was
blink.
about to say, I think there is a team that's going to pay whatever they need to pay for Lattimore too.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's going to be interesting. The one thing is, will Lattimore want to do a contract a year ahead of time when next year he could, the Saints can they picked up his 5th year, which, by the way, Ramchek is the first ever guy to be picked 32nd and last in the first round and have his 5th year option picked up. Just a little bit of trivia.
Really?
Yeah, just a little bit of trivia for you. So
I'm surprised Patrick Robinson isn't on that list.
stop. So we are into the next portion of the Jim Mora bracket, and I just want to say, if you haven't listened,
You got to sound the horn for that.
oh yeah, I want to say this was a great idea from Danielle, who is a patron. She said I should go back and cut out the Jim Mora bracket segments, and it should be its own podcast of like all the rounds. And Danielle, I may do that. That was a great idea. That was a message from one of the patrons she sent us. But we are
into the
into
best bracket that we've done. I've gotten some good feedback on this bracket.
yeah. Well, I mean, I
positive
think it's
feedback.
just. I think, Dave, like you said, it's the
It's audio friendly.
the
sound
audio
bites,
friendly portion
we
of
need
it.
more
So
audio friendly brackets.
so yeah, so
Maybe we could do a bracket about us. Maybe we can. It'll be so meta. We can do best Saints happy hour, best Ralph's worst pronunciation bracket.
well,
Boy, we could go like 32 rounds with that.
we need
You know our good friend Monadula. He went the full Ralph with spelling in the Discord chat room today. So he was talking about guys with checkered pasts, and he goes Darren Harper, and there was another one that he misspelled, but and then he spells Tyreek Hill and Ben Roethlisberger correctly. So like the two hardest names, he nails them. And then let me see if I can find this. But yeah, he spells the two hardest names perfectly, and then it's just like the softballs, Darren Sharper, he goes Darren Harper, and then there was another one that was ridiculously easy.
It's like
He
it's
misspelled
like
that.
me. Why can I say Abum Guachum correctly? But
Well, it's Obum Guachum, but yeah.
yeah, why can I
So
say
you
Guachum
can't.
correctly but
Yeah,
not?
so you can't.
Yeah, but not Kamara. So this round we get these are the quarterfinals. This one these are strong. Are we gonna do all four tonight, guys? Or are we gonna do two this week and two next week? Are we gonna do the whole quarterfinals tonight? What do you say,
It's up to you guys.
Dave? What do you say? What does the chat say, Andrew?
Yeah, let's go to the chat. Well, you guys are listening. Tell us, do you want us to be 4 total matchups? We're in the quarterfinals. Do you want us to split it into 2, or do you want us to do the whole quarterfinal? All 4 matchups, 2 or 4 matchups.
All right. Well, as they decide.
Let's get them all. Let's get them all. Let's say. All right, let's knock them out.
All
They
right.
won 4.
So, Andrew, the first bracket tonight, the first matchup is the 1 seed playoffs versus useless. And of course, listen, playoffs, it got a bye. You know it. It's been on Coors Light commercials. It's Jim Moore. It's iconic. Every football fan in the universe knows it.
I don't know. All I know is we threw 4 interceptions and fumbled once. 1 interception they returned for a touchdown. 3 others were in our end of the field where they scored points. That's all I know. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
So, I mean, that's just...
My only disappointment is that he, at one point, and this soundbite didn't capture it, but I remember in that press conference, one of my favorite things that he said in that conference was, we might have had 5 interceptions for touchdowns this season. That might be an NFL record.
Jim Mora, when he gets worked up, he's hard to stop. And facts don't really come into the equation. But the next one is one that, and I think I've mentioned this sometimes, is that we've stumbled on some great ones. But this one, Dave, has a guy from that you know from the Mets, Ron Swoboda, who's a Mets icon, but he was a New Orleans reporter, and him and Mora would always go back and forth. And this soundbite is just Ron Swoboda at the end of the 88 season, the Saints, by the time they kicked off, they would know whether the game meant they were playing for a playoff spot or they were playing just to go 10-6 and then go home. And Ron Swoboda called it useless, and Jim Mora lost his mind.
See, that's the trouble. You probably played a lot of useless games. We don't play useless games. Every game we play is an important game, whether it's for a playoff spot or not. Maybe that wasn't the case with you, but it is with this football team. Every game, no game is useless. So when you use a dumb term like that, a useless game, that's the most f***ing idiotic question I've ever heard when you say something like that.
Is that
a useless, yeah, they're both dumb.
Really?
A useless game. When was a game useless?
Well,
That
guys
is
wanna be-
idiot.
What they're playing for? If they're playing for the
Jesus
playoffs or
Christ.
not?
Is it useless? Is a game useless?
You think
Use
players-
your f***ing head.
You think players play
Jesus.
differently?
Maybe you did,
Huh?
but these guys don't. Dumb question. A useless game. What do you guys think? A useless game? That is f***ing stupid. Wake up.
I'm voting useless. I'm voting for useless over playoffs. And everybody in the chat room, you can scream at me and you can yell at me, but I don't want Jim Mora as the Colts coach winning this bracket. And I want playoffs gone. And I think this useless rant is better. It's got obscenities. It's got Jim Mora getting worked up. It's got him fighting with the media. It's got everything you want. I vote useless. Andrew, who you got?
Yeah, the fans in the chat room aren't going to be able to vote, because there won't be any ties with Kevin not here. So it's really up to the three of us. Oh man, I'm with you. Playoffs is so iconic. It really is his most famous. But the profanity, the profanity-laced tirade, and just telling a guy he's so idiotic, he's stupid. He even says "iddy effing otic." He makes up his own word. So, man, I think I got to vote against playoffs because it was with the Colts. I'm with you on that. Like, I think we've got to keep this a Saints rant. And so I'll go with useless.
Dave?
Well, my vote technically doesn't matter, but I am going with you guys anyway.
Yes!
And for all the reasons you guys mentioned, he's cursing. It's a very pointed attack at one person in particular.
You got a personal touch with Swoboda too, right? It's got a little.
Yeah. No, it's a good one. It's definitely a good one.
Ron Swoboda's
we've never heard Peyton go off like that. I can tell you that.
Ron Swoboda's like the Tracy Porter of the Mets. Like he's
known. You got going there, Dave. A little screwdriver.
Dave.
I think you just.
No, it's a IPA. It's a juicy, hazy IPA from a fairly new local brewery here in New Orleans called Our Relation. The brewer is from formerly of Southern Prohibition and formerly also of Other Half in Brooklyn. And
he says it's an IPA, but it looks like a screwdriver.
It's a New England IPA. See, this is what I'm talking about, Juge. You don't know what you're talking about as far as
here we go.
This
looks
is
good.
This is like drinking orange juice. This is called "Are we still doing Citra?" ?
I like that.
Citra, if you don't know, is a hop.
That looks delicious.
It is. It's delicious. It tastes
our
like
next,
orange. It's like an orange, juicy, grapefruity, delicious.
I love fruity beers. I'm drinking a Shiner Sea Salt and Lime.
It's
not
that kind of fruity, mother. Jesus Christ.
So our next matchup is this one. I didn't even. Again, I had to do to build this bracket out. I had to find enough more rants to fill it out. This was a rant I didn't even know exist. This is Jim Mora calling in to a post-game television show on Fox 38 where he goes at one of his former players, Buford Jordan, and it's just magical.
I just happened to walk in here and watch it, and I got to tell you something. It makes me almost want to vomit. And I'm being very honest with you. First of all, Buford, you absolutely have no idea who can tackle and who can't tackle. You're sitting back there saying they need to work on tackling drills. This guy can tackle. This guy can't tackle. You never come to practice. You absolutely have no idea how much time we spend on tackling. And for you to say that we have a bunch of roughnecks back there that need to learn how to tackle is ridiculous.
Nah, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I'm going to tell you something, Alexander, and this comes from the heart. Don't ever ask me to be on your show, because when I do occasionally watch it, it really makes me want to vomit. And I don't think you're a Saints supporter. I don't think you care about the Saints, and there's no way I would ever be on your show, so don't even ask me, okay?
My favorite part is this comes from the heart. Go fuck yourself. Like, it's just amazing. I'm gonna start doing that when I disagree with you guys. I'm gonna say, Dave, this comes from the heart, and then just blast you.
A couple of things. One, Ralph, I want you to pull the "It Makes Me Want to Vomit" sound clip, because I want you to be able to use that in future shows when it's appropriate. Okay. Two.
We need like 7 sound bites from this whole bracket.
Totally.
Yeah.
Two. I don't even know what you're gonna. I'm not looking at the bracket. I don't know what you're gonna play next. I'm voting for that fucking sound clip. I'm calling my shot right now. I don't care what's up next. It doesn't matter. That may be my favorite one of this entire tournament. The fact that he calls into a guy's fucking show, a former player's show, tells him it makes him want to vomit, tells him, don't even bother. I don't even want to be on your show. I don't want anything to do with you. You are an idiot. I can't even believe that you played on my team. I don't respect you. He went out of his way. It wasn't like he was being interviewed. Okay.
But it's amazing that he goes on the show to tell him that he's not going to go on the show.
Yeah, okay, okay. Also, that bit of irony also makes it even funnier. But
Yeah.
no, all these other sound bits are him being interviewed or him at a press conference where he's required to talk. He went out of his way, picked up the goddamn phone, and called into that fucking show just to give him a piece of his fucking mind. That right there makes this the best sound clip in the entire fucking tournament.
Well, this next one I think might be better.
Yeah,
So get ready.
This is Jim Mora at home after the Saints lost on a Monday night to Green Bay, just eviscerating Saints fans.
You know, I'd like to begin my remarks by saying this, and I mean this in all sincerity. I've been coaching for 34 years, and tonight I saw and heard one of the most disgusting, rudest, sick demonstrations in my entire career, probably the worst. When Wade Wilson got hurt, I actually looked up in the stands and saw people standing, clapping, and cheering when he was laying on the ground with a knee injury. And I'll say this, those are some sick people, mentally sick. I thought it was horrible, disgusting, embarrassing, shameful. It stunk. People are sick when they do something like that. Absolutely friggin' sick. Guy's out there busting his ass, like all of our guys were, gets his knee blown up, not badly, hopefully, and they're standing and cheering and clapping. Those are sick people, sick in the head. They ought to get their ass thrown right out of the stadium.
Coach, do you think the fans' reaction to what happened to Wilson affected the whole mood of your team?
No. It was the sickest thing I've ever seen in 34 years of coaching. Sickest I've ever seen in 34 years of coaching. It makes me want to just, I don't know. I can't describe it. Words don't describe how I feel right now of what happened tonight. Words cannot describe it.
What about your players?
I don't know. Ask them. I would hope that they'd be upset as I am. If they, I would hope so. Man, it's disgusting. I've never been in a stadium in my life, in my 34 years of coaching, where they did that. Never. And I've been in every NFL stadium, a lot of college stadiums. It was disgusting. The people are nuts. They're sick.
It's so good. This bracket 4-5 is strong. I mean,
Yeah. I already voted, so I'm not even going to comment on that. But Ralph, my second petition. The second audio clip needs to be, you need to string together all the times he says sick and just put it all together as one audio bite. That would be fucking gold. Sick. Metal sick.
I'm going with sick. I just the number of times that he says sick.
This could have been the finals matchup. This could have been.
It really could have been. I mean, I just think how he rails on the fans. And, he's right. He's justified in feeling the way he does. You should never cheer when your own player gets
quarterback.
Yeah. But, who was Wade Wilson's backup that year? Who went in for Wade Wilson? I can't imagine it was any better. Wade Wilson was terrible. Little known fact, Wade Wilson was nicknamed Woodrow Wilson because he was so old. Fans were calling him Woodrow. That was his nickname.
It might have been Walsh. I don't know. I gotta look.
Walsh was gone by then, I think.
I gotta look it up and see who.
All right. Well, let me know what you find out. But yeah, I can only imagine how much worse it was turning away from him. If Wade Wilson was the quarterback, I can only imagine how much worse.
It was still Walsh. They still had Steve Walsh.
They went back to Walsh, huh?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I gotta go with sick. I just feel like he's so angry, and I mean they're both great, and I'm always down for some. For some reason, Mora always hated Buford Jordan, so
it is
that call-in is.
Buford Jordan figures prominently in this tournament, which is weird. He does, which is just weird. One thing is, and I wish I would have kept it. I probably could sell it on eBay for like $25. Jim Mora, the Saints made him write a letter to all the Saints season ticket holders apologizing for calling them all sick. And maybe my mom still has it somewhere in the attic or something, but I could probably sell that on eBay for $20. But here's the thing, Andrew, and this is from the heart. Dave convinced me that the Buford Jordan call-in, it needs to move on. Dave just made a passionate, beautiful case for it. So I'm going Buford Jordan call-in.
I can't believe you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I was wondering where Ralph was going to stand on this. He was the deciding vote. I was nervous. I mean, 666 is it's a great one, man.
It's a good one. I mean,
I'm
so one of them had to go.
I would have never guessed in a million years that Sick would not make it out of the quarterfinals.
Yeah. So the other bye in this tournament was, this is actually Jim Mora's final post-game press conference as a Saints coach, because he lost his mind, and this is the diddly-poo meltdown. The Saints lost to Carolina, and then the next day, Jim Mora
crazy tonight.
resigned. What?
Your cats are going crazy tonight.
They like the diddly poo one.
They diddly poo one. But so let me see. Here is diddly poo, which is another iconic Mora one.
Well, what happened was, that game, we got our ass kicked. In the second half, we just got our ass totally kicked. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. The second half, we sucked. We couldn't stop the run. Every time they got the ball, they went down and got points. We got our ass totally kicked in the second half. That's what it boiled down to.
I mean, it's an incredible rant, and he would not be the Saints coach 24 hours later, which was amazing. Would you say, Andrew, this is the second most known Mora rant besides playoffs?
Yes, definitely. In terms of just, and it was really the term diddly poo. I don't know that the rant in of itself. I mean, I kind of enjoy that he's like, we couldn't stop the run, we couldn't stop the pass. Every time they got the ball, they went down and scored on us. I mean, he really is shitting on his team, but it's the diddly poo word creation that I think really makes that one as iconic as it was.
So it's facing the number 7 seed. This is the season is not over. This one won its first round matchup versus Don't Film the Injuries. This one is great just because it shows that Jim Mora, even in retirement and being a commentator on WDSU, he still got it. And bonus for taking a dump all over Fletcher Mackel.
God, I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that.
I'm just saying the statistics say.
Is the season over? They have 13 more games to play. Is the season over? Can they go home and pack their bags and go home? You just said the season's over. That's the most negative statement that I hear from fans and media ever. Ever. And it bugs me.
Okay, well, how about this?
Is the season over? No, there's 13 more games to play. 13 more games to play, and you're saying the season's over? Unbelievable.
I'm just saying.
Unbelievable.
Statistically,
the season is not over. Do you think those players and coaches are going over there in there thinking the season's over? No way.
Look,
no way.
I'll say this. Since Sean Payton and Drew Brees arrived, they have always seemingly righted the ship in some way, and they have fought hard until the end.
And they got 13 games to right the ship again. You give all those stats. Since 2000 and this, no team that's gone over. So what? Does that mean it can't happen? No, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. What do you think those guys are thinking? They're going to look at the stats and say, well, there's no way we can go to the playoffs? They wouldn't quit then. The season wouldn't be over even that. No, the season's not over. They got 13 games to play. 13 games.
You know what I think?
Jeez.
You know how this shows how great Mora is with his rants. That is a great rant, and we've listened to 4 already, and it just doesn't measure up. But it's still really, really good. But Diddly Poo is just iconic, and that's my vote on this one. This one is an easy one for me. Andrew?
I don't know. I'm a sucker for banging on the desk. You know, and just when he gets angry and he punches the desk and you hear him do it like 5 times, and he's just flaming on he won't let Fletcher Mackel get a word in. I kind of love it. You know, and again, Diddly Poo. I'm not gonna lie, I love Jim Moore. I mean, especially I'm so sad that he was never able to win a playoff game because he had great teams and
Yeah.
he was a good coach and he deserved better than how it went with and you know, like, I mean, just being stuck in the same division with the 49ers in the Montana and Rice era. Like, it's just like, I mean, he totally got screwed. He should have. It's kind of, I don't know. It's like Andy Roddick. There's your tennis metaphor, but it's like Andy Roddick playing in the Federer era. Like, he totally got screwed out of winning a Wimbledon.
He won 12 games twice and never got a bye.
Yeah, yeah. So I just feel like the Diddly Poo one gives me sadness because it's like it's the end of the Mora era, and I look at that and to me it brings back sad memories. Crushing Fletcher Mackel is always funny.
Dave,
So I'm going with that.
Dave, you're gonna break the tie. What's it gonna be?
Wow, I'm in a position of power here right now. This is I'm gonna take my time with this. A few things, you know. One, Ralph, you know, you said we've listened to now 5 different Jim Mora rants, and
Yeah.
I honestly don't think Diddly Poo stacks up. Diddly Poo it's short. It's he's not really yelling. There's not a lot of oomph. There's not a lot of power, emphasis, anger behind it. You know, it's ironic because here we have Jim Mora's last rant as a Saint versus a rant post Saints game rant later in life, showing that he's still got it, and I think that's powerful. You know, you've got, it's almost like his comeback. It's almost like the Jim Mora's comeback story with this rant. With this rant, he came back. He showed everybody that Jim Mora from the 90s is back. He's still got a rant in him. You can still count on him to stand up for what is good and holy in Saints football. And I like the way it starts out. Again, you know, Andrew says he's banging on the desk. I hate to hear that. I love that he just starts off like that, and I just love when he starts off like that. So I'm going with the Mora.
Season is not
over. Season is not over.
The bracket is in shambles.
It is officially busted.
The bracket is officially busted. So
this is the real stuff.
The last quarterfinal matchup, the 3 seed. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. This matchup here is just, to me, one of these is going to get put out, and both of them, to me, I think could win the whole goddamn thing. So up first is, of course, one of Mora's iconic ones. It's coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's after the first game the Saints played in 1987 after the strike. They lost to San Francisco, and Morton Anderson missed a 53-yard field goal wide left, and everybody wanted to pat the Saints on the head because up to that point they hadn't had a winning season ever in their history, but they tried really hard against the big, bad San Francisco 49ers, and don't they deserve a cookie? And isn't it wonderful that they played a close game against a good team? And Jim Mora wasn't here for that bullshit.
We're not good enough. We shouldn't even be thinking about beating this 49ers. We shouldn't be talking about it because the Saints ain't good enough. And you guys shouldn't write about us being a playoff team and all that bullshit. That's malarkey. We ain't good enough to beat those guys, and it was proven out there today. It's that simple. We're not good enough yet. We got a long way to go. We got a lot of work to do. We're close, and close don't mean and you can put that on TV for me. I'm tired of coming close, and we're going to work off till we ain't close anymore. And it may take some time. We're going to get it done. We aren't in there. We aren't good enough. They're better than us. Black and white, simple fact. Could have, would have, should have is the difference in what I'm talking about. The good teams don't come in and say could have. They get it done. All right? It's that simple. tired of saying could have, should have, would have. That's why we ain't good enough yet. Because we're saying could have and they ain't.
I should have added Ron. I should have had Ron Swoboda in there because he finally
Ralph
prominently
could
in
have,
this.
should have, would have.
So the next rant is this one is I don't know if it's worthy of winning the entire thing, but it's my personal favorite. This is Jim Mora after a training camp practice against the Kansas City Chiefs in 1991, and he
I like this one too.
is just not pleased with his team. And if you just heard this rant, you would think the Saints won 4 games in 1991, but they actually won 11 in their first division title, and it's amazing. And it starts off with a future murderer asking Jim Mora how the practice went.
Obviously, you're not happy.
Oh, we got our ass kicked. We got our ass kicked. It was sickening. First 3, we have 18 plays on offense. First 18 plays, we turn the ball over, one for a touchdown. The other one's going to set up a touchdown. We can't, we got backs that can't hang onto the ball. They out-hit us. They out-toughed us. We stunk today. We're not even close between that football team and our football team. Not even close. Ridiculous. We run 2 screens. We don't block anybody. We get a back, gets his knee blown out on one of them. Can block anybody. We stunk. Just stunk.
Jim, injuries, do you think it...
Dean told me he blew his knee out. You got to block people on a screen. Shit, he gets the ball out there, and 2 guys, big old animals, nail his ass. Shit, it's ridiculous. We run a screen before that, we get our ass nailed.
What about scales, coaches?
I don't know. Dean said he couldn't put any weight on his leg. That didn't sound too good to me. Shit, we're down. We're down in back. We're down in everything. Shit, we don't have enough people right now. It'll be hard to practice next week effectively.
Pinkett done for the year, you think?
I don't know. Dean told me it looked like he tore 2 knee ligaments. That doesn't sound very encouraging.
Do you take into account of all the fact that Hebert...
I don't take into account shit. All I take into account is they kicked our ass today. That's what I take into account. Stowers. Well, let me just tell you something. He looked pretty good, right? They cut him before they came to camp. The Kansas City Chiefs cut Stowers before they came to camp. Looked pretty good for us. Maybe that shows you the difference between our team and their team. I don't know.
Will you go back to...
What do you guys think about that? Pretty good indication, right? They won't even bring him to camp. Shit, he looks like a star of the day for the Saints.
Jim, will you change the focus of practice?
Depends if we got anybody that can practice. We can line up and do something.
Jim, was the effort there today? Did you?
It was all right. Buford Jordan goes in there and gets a little hit and knocks the ball out. Head gets in there, gets a little hit, ball goes out. Shit, I don't know if that's effort or not. It's horse shit ball carrying, I know that. Horse shit.
I mean...
All right, I gotta go first.
Go.
First of all, that's got so many awesome one-liners, like the horseshit ball carrying. What was the other?
Star of the day.
Yeah, the star of the day. What did he say when he asked him about Hebert?
I don't take into account shit. Like, I'm gonna create a Mora soundboard of just Mora sound that's gonna live on this podcast for all eternity.
The other thing that's so hilarious is I love the Stowers stuff, but what's great about it is whoever was asking the questions, all he did was say Stowers. He didn't say, what did you think of Stowers? How did Stowers play? He just said Stowers, and then that was enough for Mora to just go off on him. He just had to mention his name. The mere mention of his name, and Mora just starts fucking going off on him. And I like when he goes back, he says, well, I don't know, what did you think? How did you think he played? Looked pretty good to me. I don't know. That one is, for me, we don't even need to vote anymore. That one's in the finals on this half, and the Buford Jordan vomit is in the finals in the other half.
I mean,
that's the best.
I'm going Stowers.
And this one might be the winner.
I'm going Stowers, Andrew, but for it to beat coulda, shoulda, woulda, and it's clear as day that it's defeating coulda, shoulda, woulda is kind of stunning to me now that as we're playing these matchups.
Well, coulda, shoulda, woulda is another kind of like diddly poo. It's a coined phrase. It's iconic because the coulda, woulda, shoulda. In fact, I think they made T-shirts for that. Dave, your store probably made T-shirts in that era that said coulda, woulda, shoulda on them. But I remember that being a thing where fans would wear it. So it had cult status. People loved it, and so yeah, I mean, like diddly poo, I think you could make the argument that maybe that one's even bigger. But the thing about Stowers is that this wasn't like a post-game press conference that was on live TV. Like there was maybe one or two cameras there, but it didn't really make the rounds back then. Like that's the thing. Like many of us have rediscovered the Stowers rant later in our Saints fandom. So it just showed up on YouTube, and I watched it, and I think Ralph, like you, we both watched this. We're like, holy shit, we don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
So it was like this gem that had just been sitting in this, in this cave, in this, safe for decades.
Well, you got to remember, people, now that we have social media and just everything is online, and you can take clips of things and they can go viral and all this, that Jim Mora rant, it probably got played on the local news at 6 and 10, but not the whole thing because sports only gets 3 minutes, right? So they probably took the best 20 seconds of it. Maybe ESPN back in the day got it off the satellite and played it, but then it just kind of goes away, right? Because it's just a training camp rant. Nowadays, if that happens, it literally would consume social media for a week. Like,
oh, it would explode Saints Twitter if something like that. But my thing is, it has everything. It has more ripping on his team. It has the Buford Jordan insults, which I'm always here for. It's got the Kansas City Chiefs. This whole Stowers thing about how they cut him and that he looks pretty good for the Saints. Like all of it is just.
They won't even bring him to camp. He looks like a star of the day for the Saints.
Yeah, so that's a soundbite you need to hang on to as well. But this has got to be a clean sweep. Stowers is just it's too strong.
I mean, yeah, it's a clean sweep. But you look at the semifinals, and you have no top 3 seeds making it. You have useless, the number 8 seed. You have the Buford Jordan call-in, the 4 seed, on one side, and then you have the 7 seed, the season is not over, on the other side, versus the 6 seed, the Stowers rant. I mean, that's how great
Buford Jordan being in both rants of the finalists is in play.
It's just this bracket is one of those things where we had thought about doing it for a while, but I think we just didn't have the capability with the banana meter board when we first thought of it, and last summer we did the other one. But this by far is our most fun one, just because the audio makes it so.
Can we
great. Get
this to Mora? Is he on Twitter? Can we let him know that we're doing this?
I
wonder if he's got what his opinion on this would be. Can we get him on?
My understanding is he's always kind of hated like people talking about his rants.
Yeah,
Really?
He does not like it. If you watch the NFL Films thing on him, he's not a fan of the playoff rant. And Jim Mora, I tried to, when I did the oral history of the Bobby Hebert holdout, I got Jim Mora's email, and I emailed him, and he responded back, and I asked him like 4 questions for him to answer, and he's like, nah, I'm not answering those questions. I'm like, all these people are dead, and you won't even answer the questions about what happened during the Bobby Hebert holdout. So I doubt Jim Mora would be keen to give us any sort of response about our greatest Jim Mora rants bracket. But it doesn't change the fact that we love him and that this bracket has been amazing. So
now we paid Sean Payton to cut that open for us and insult us. I mean, I'm just gonna say this right now. Whatever we paid Sean Payton, I would triple it for Jim Mora to insult us.
Yeah, you aren't kidding. I mean, Do you how much do you think we'd have to pay Mora to get him to insult us?
I mean, I'd take out a second mortgage.
We would give 6 months of podcast revenue to have Jim Mora insult us. So, guys, you know, sorry about the live stream. I think it worked fine for everyone except my computer for some reason. So thanks for hanging out with us. Obviously, they've stayed around, so it's worked. So we appreciate you guys. And we said at the top of the show, but I'm going to say it again. Dave has done some amazingly cool stuff for our booze bundle that we're going to send everybody in August who is a $10 patron, and that is going to be fantastic. You want it to get you ready for Saints season. Crew to Taysom Cup, Forever Drew Cup, a koozie, and a shot glass with the Saints Happy Hour logo on it. You get all of that for $10, plus access to every podcast we do. You get your daily dose of Saints Happy Hour, and you get Andrew's grades. Why? And you get access to the Discord for $10. God, we're literally going to lose money on it, but we do it because it's fun. So become a $10 patron. Think of it. Consider it. We appreciate your support. So guys, it's been a fun Sunday night. The live stream worked. Thanks to Dave. Thanks to Andrew, Kevin, who's MIA. Thanks for hanging out with us. Until next time, the bar is closed.